Hello everyone, I'm your host, Boss Zombie. Welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road. It won't stop itching. It was fine in between recording, and then it started itching again. Alright, let's just keep heading on the road. Just go this way and see what kind of quests we can find. I'll just have to... No, wait, hold on. Sweet Paws, that's a good name. I like talking.
Of all the places this one has been, Skingrad is the most appealing. Imperials are quite friendly when they aren't invading lands that do not belong to them.
Ooh. Oh. Okay. Alright. That's entirely fair. Oh. Aquila Veres.
Betu! Oh, where has that dog gone?
People love their dogs out here.
Excuse my shouting, traveler. You wouldn't happen to have seen a dog running around? Large, fluffy, carrying a very important estate-defining scroll in his mouth?
Why is the dog carrying a scroll?
Oh, it's a tiring ordeal. I'm visiting Westweald to execute the will of my late aunt, Lady Weatherly. The will my aunt's beloved dog, Betu, currently has in his slobbery little mouth. No thanks to Lady Weatherly's investigator friend.
An investigator, you say?
Yes, one Mizik Thunderboots.
Mizik!
It seems he and my aunt are old friends, and he insisted on helping execute her will. I've had my fill, but you're welcome to lend him a hand. In fact, I can offer you a tidy sum if you can help move things along.
I will gladly speak with Mizik Thunderboots.
You can find Mizik just down the road, searching the Weatherly estate for Betu. He has quite a distinct look. You can't miss him. Khajiit wearing a broad-brimmed hat and big, heavy boots. Quite the flair for the dramatic, if you ask me.
Tell me more about your aunt.
My dear aunt suffered a terrible fall in her library. It's tragic. She certainly had many more years ahead of her. Now those she left behind are trying to piece together her final wishes. Even her son deigned to return.
Interesting. Murder mystery, perhaps? What do you mean? What do you mean?
I shouldn't be so flippant with my family's drama. Uriel, my cousin, disappeared years ago. My aunt believed he died in Varen's revolt. Yet, here he is. Something doesn't seem right. But I'll leave the speculation to the investigator.
Tell me about the investigator.
One Mizik Thunderboots. It's an odd name for an investigator, don't you think? Doesn't inspire a sense of discretion. Although, if what he says is true, he knew my aunt. If she trusted him, then so can I.
My old friend Mizik Thunderboots. Didn't we get him? Was he a... I forget, hold on. I think he was a house guest they gave away, right? Because I never bought him. Yeah. I think he was a daily reward or a free item in the Crown Store. I don't remember. This place is spooky. There he is.
Huh. It seems Mizik has been fooled by a four-legged escape artist. Ah, greetings, traveler. Perhaps you can help Mizik in his search?
Gladly, Mizik.
Ah, an old friend approaches. This one knows there are no coincidences in his line of work. Mizik could use help solving a curious case. You wouldn't by any chance have seen a beast running about with a mouthful of parchment?
Yeah.
Ah, a wonderful idea from dear Aquilia. This one fears there is more afoot to Lady Weatherly's death. But our first clue is currently in the jowls of a dog. A hairy, stinky thing. Betu is the beast's name, though this one calls him Headache.
You're investigating Lady Weatherly's death?
Oh, yes. Helping with the will is a cover. Not only was her death sudden and mysterious, but now her fortune is missing, and her long-lost son has returned. A great many threads for one's claws to get tangled in.
A missing fortune? A long-lost son?
Yes, yes. Aquilia wishes the question of inheritance
Oh, I should
be
have asked how he was
conclusively
before.
answered before it becomes fodder for the gossips. Now, dear Aid, We must find Betu. This one has already found his tracks. Let us crouch down and follow his trail.
Can I?
With your aid.
Oh, I wanted to... Oh, well. It's fine. Do I not start crouching yet? Do I crouch over here? Ah. Oh yeah, look at that. Cool. Okay. Okay.
I don't know what you're playing at, but you were a fool to come here.
There's Lady Pelena and her husband Uriel, our once long-lost son.
Be angry all you want, dear wife, but don't cause a scene. I'm here to stay.
Fine. Then you can help deal with your cousin and that inane investigator. Now, where could that mangy dog have gotten off to?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Me likes a murder mystery. Wait. Did I lose the trail? Hopperns go this way. I don't see them that way. Oh, here, I see them now. They're grape flavored now. Were these here and just not loading, or did I just genuinely not see them? Dangerous for a dog to be so
There's Betu.
covered in
Quick,
grapes.
grab the wheel while he is occupied. Quickly, grab the wheel.
Not now, Betu. Away with you!
With the wheel secured, let us speak with Edric.
Hello, doggy.
Betu's always been an incorrigible sort. Best not to let him walk all over you. Apologies. I should introduce myself. My name is Edric Bressner. I was Lady Weatherly's cook. Terrible thing, her death. Beyond compare.
Were you close to her?
Yes, terribly so. I've been in her employ for what feels like ages, which is why I hope you'll listen when I say you must leave the estate. I fear what happened to our dear lady could happen to you.
What makes you say that?
Chefs are privy to more than just their employer's favorite dishes. Lady Weatherly hasn't been the same since her son's disappearance, and I'm not the only one to take notice. Fruit flies buzz around the sweetest fruit, after all.
Do you know what happened to Lady Weatherly?
I can't say any more. I only came to pay my respects and to leave this place behind. If I were you, I would stay far away from that manor before that investigator digs up something horrible.
Mizik and I are here to help. Interesting.
If you insist on staying, that's your business. Just watch your back.
How strange. Come, let us speak, traveler. It seems the cook knows more than he is willing to let on. How very curious. Mizik will have to make note of this. At least this confirms that the residents of the estate are keeping their secrets close to their chests.
Will you remind me of who's involved?
Yes, of course. Along with the cook, there's Otho Florius, the gardener. Then, of course, Lady Weatherly's missing son himself, Uriel, back from the dead. And his wife, Helena, who has long lived at the estate with Lady Weatherly.
Uriel returned after his mother's death?
Convenient, yes? Many questions surround Uriel's sudden return. And it should be noted that Helena seems none too pleased about it. Mizik has, of course, investigated a number of failed marriages, but this seems different. Ah, what of the will?
Here it is, dog slobber and all.
Yeah, excellent. The seal is still intact. We should return to the manor now that we've secured the will. I am certain our roosting vultures are keen to hear what it has to say. Meet Mizik by the manor house when you are ready to meet the others.
Okay. Any parting words? I can pet Betu. Okay. This is good. I couldn't pet the other dog, but I can pet Betu. And I'm going to pet Betu again. I'm going to pet Betu again, I said. Oh, okay. Betu, come with me. Come with me. I think I actually have the pet that Betu is. That kind of dog.
I hope Betu's return means you retrieved the will, Mizik?
Yes, the will is returned and intact, thanks to my assistant.
Well, let's get this over with. Read it aloud, Mizik.
Yes, of course.
What?
Weatherly's walls hide a glittering secret, safely guarded by 4 loyal paws. Do not worry. Mizik and his assistant will get to the bottom of this.
I'm sorry. Is that a riddle?
This must be some sort of joke.
There he is. My faithful friend. Oh!
Strange. Betu doesn't seem too fond of you, cousin.
Nonsense. I'm sure Betu just needs time to remember me. Isn't that right, boy?
Feel
Interesting.
free to speak with the others.
So, like, he's
but
clearly
join
an
me in the
imposter,
study
right?
When you are ready.
Maybe? I don't know. Cheese board. Oh, it actually is a cheese board. What is this supposed to be? It's meat and gravy and maybe onions on top? It's hard to tell.
The estate feels hollow now, without her. And apologies for my appearance. Needed some liquid courage to walk the halls of this corpse. I hope you find who did this. She did not deserve what happened to her.
Were you close to her?
Closer than most staff are with their lords and ladies, I reckon. I'd worked for her since before young Uriel had even been born. Feels like a lifetime ago. More memories to drown, I suppose.
You're a little dramatic.
I'm Otho, the gardener. Betu must like you if he followed you back. He's a good judge of character, you know. Lady Weatherly loved him dearly. I worry about what will become of him when all is said and done.
What were you and Edric arguing about earlier?
Edric is making a bit of a fool of himself. It pains me to see him this way. I assure you, he's never acted like this before. Perhaps it'd be better if you asked him. He's had a rough go of it.
It seems I was right to ask for your help. Despite the mysterious contents of the will, this is the most progress we've made all day. I trust you and Mizik will see things through, and we can proceed with this unpleasant business.
Were you close to Lady Weatherly?
Fairly, though I wished I had made more of an effort to visit. I spent many summers here when I was younger, but school and then my position kept me away for far too long. She was kind, generous. Her loss outweighs any treasure we might find.
Look at you in the high collar.
All this waiting, and for what? A riddle. It's absurd. The sooner you and Mizik solve this riddle, the sooner our family can move on from this nonsense. To think we haven't even had a chance to celebrate Uriel's return.
And what were you two arguing about earlier?
How embarrassing. You overheard that. Tensions have been high since his mother's passing. There are certain adjustments we've both had to make. Nothing some restful sleep can't solve.
I didn't realize Mizik had an assistant. A pleasure to meet you. I hope, despite the circumstances, you will find time to enjoy the estate grounds. It's beautiful this time of year. A small blessing while we grieve.
You must be happy to be back home.
Happy doesn't do the feeling justice. Ecstatic, overjoyed, yet still burdened by Mother's passing and the horrors of battle. But being surrounded by loved ones has been a major boon.
Yeah, you're definitely a fake. I mean, what kind of attitude is that? Oh, this must be Betu's corner. Huh? Interesting. Oh, this lamp is cool. Lots of notes that I can't read.
Why would Lady Weatherly leave a riddle in her will? Perhaps you can make sense
Oh,
of it.
cool compass. I want that. Wait. Is it a yeah, it's a compass. Huh. A glittering secret safely guarded by 4 loyal paws. Okay, so
Could the
Betu.
4 paws mean Betu? They certainly are not Mizik's. Perhaps we can find a clue here in her study.
Ooh, the fancy new bottles. There's so many things I want from this DLC that I have to buckle down and grind and hunt for plans. Afraid I'm at my wit's end. I'm certain that the cook has started following me around the grounds. It seemed harmless at first, but our chance encounters have grown more numerous, and so have his questions about my late husband's disappearance. I do not know what's come over him, but I fear for my safety and yours. At least time we let the cook go. I can begin the process of finding a replacement. Just say the word. Interesting.
Huh. It seems Helena made her feelings about the cook quite clear to Lady Weatherly.
Nice chair. My dear son, I've spent many hours in the great sum of gold trying to find you. Stubborn as ever, I've been unwilling to accept that you may your end on some distant battlefield. Kept my search for you a secret. I had thought to include Helena, but when I floated the idea, she became angry with me. Accused me of chasing ghosts and wasting coin. Perhaps like me, she's frightened the truth I have now come to terms with, that you died a pointless death and rest somewhere in an unmarked grave. I take some solace in the memorial Edric helped me build. You would like it. It's in a quiet spot where you used to catch torch bugs when you were young.
It seems Lady Weatherly led her own investigation into her son's death.
I want this painting. I don't know that this is a painting you can get. I know there is another... This is a painting you can get. It's like the persistence of... I forget what it's called. Something of dogs. And I want that. Actually, I want all these paintings, but this... I would like this painting, too.
A note peeking out from behind the painting. Excellent eye for detail, friend.
Lady Weatherly, I know how hard it will be to believe a letter with no signature, but I fear for my life as much as I fear for yours. To earn your trust, I offer you this. Ginseng and comberry tea brewed with candied rose petals. Like someone who cares for you dearly would know your favorite tea. I risk writing this letter because a traitor schemes behind your back. It pains me to say this, but the woman you've cared for may have had a hand in murdering your son. We must meet as soon as possible. I fear we haven't much time.
Interesting. A hidden note guarded by a painted dog. What does it say?
So the person who wrote that must have been the gardener, right? Not the gardener, the cook, right?
Let Mizik see the note. An anonymous letter warning Lady Weatherly of a traitor. This one wonders if they were able to meet before her death. It paints a disturbing picture of her final moments.
Why?
Mizik was told that Lady Weatherly died alone in her library. But could she have met with a stranger only to become their victim? We must question the family, but do not mention the note.
Why not?
Whether this note was sent by the killer or a kind soul close to Lady Weatherly, it confirms one thing, that there is indeed a traitor among us. And with this letter, Mizik can do what he does best. Play cat and mouse.
I will help question the family members. This DLC is very good for the clutter you can get for like decorations. Oh, they're like grape-shaped cups.
If you are looking for the stranger who calls himself Uriel, he went to walk the estate grounds with Helena, and not a moment too soon. I was growing tired of their bickering.
Actually, I was hoping to talk to you.
Of course, though I doubt I'd be of much help. I was tending to affairs in High Isle when I learned of my aunt's death. As her last living blood relative, I saw fit to see to her will, until my cousin's convenient reappearance, of course.
What do you know of Lady Weatherly's death?
As I understand it, she fell from her library's ladder while reaching for a book. If she had kept a modest staff on hand, perhaps she could have been saved. But by the time she was found, she had passed.
Who found her?
I believe it was one of the estate's remaining workers. Helena would know more. She was here when it happened. Unlike Uriel. I know grief can cloud one's judgment, but is she not at all suspicious of Uriel's story?
Why are you suspicious?
I haven't seen Uriel since we were teens, before I was sent to boarding school. And then he left to fight in Varen's revolt 6 years ago. He might share a passing resemblance, even with his scar, but I don't believe he's really Uriel.
Do you have any proof he's lying?
Frustratingly, no. But my aunt spent countless coins searching for Uriel. Even if his story is true and he lost his memory, she would have found him. I fear Uriel was lost to us in the revolt. And this man is wearing our grief like a disguise.
What does Pelena think?
That's the thing. Since his arrival, Pelena has been both overjoyed and furious. I suppose his return after so long could explain her mixed emotions. But I think she's hiding something. They share terse whispers constantly.
Good to know.
If Aquilia was Lady Weatherly's last living heir, could she have expected to receive the missing fortune? A motive, perhaps.
Perhaps, but I don't think so. Are they arguing again? In the gazebo?
How foolish of you to think that I would just disappear.
My love, the investigator returns. We'll continue our discussion later. Apologies. Recent events have been overwhelming, to say the least. I needed some fresh air, and my dear Uriel saw fit to join me. Is there anything I can help you with?
Were you present the day Lady Weatherly died?
No, I was not. Lady Weatherly was kind enough to let me live on the estate when Uriel went off to fight, but I often spend my mornings walking through the woods. A ritual that has helped ever since Uriel's death. Absence, I mean.
Who found her body?
Otho Florius, the gardener, was the one who found her. He was the only one home at the time. Ever since I fired that horrible cook, Otho's been the only remaining staff member tending to the estate.
You fired the cook?
Yes. I caught Edric snooping around my private quarters. Terrible thing, having one's privacy encroached upon. I told him to never return or I'd have Betu chase him out. I admit, I did enjoy striking fear into that sad little man.
Betu listens to your commands?
Well enough. He's known me since my courtship years with Uriel. He causes his fair share of mischief, but Lady Weatherly could never bring herself to get rid of him. After all, Betu was her last connection to Uriel.
What sort of mischief?
The dog has a penchant for stealing what isn't his. I usually ask our gardener to wrangle him, but as you can see, he hasn't done a very good job. Of course, now that Lady Weatherly has passed, we can consider alternatives.
Ah, so you're just incredibly evil. I see.
Go on then, ask me how I returned. It's the only question anyone seems to have for me. Uriel Weatherly, back from the dead. It's laughable.
I am curious.
6 years ago, I left to fight in Varen's revolt. I was gravely wounded and left for dead, and would have died, had a caravan of Khajiit not stumbled upon me and taken pity. The Khajiit could heal my wounds, but not my memories. They were lost.
He's like so dramatic, like he's an actor. You lost your memories?
Every single one. I rode with the caravan until I was fully healed. It wasn't until we rode into Skingrad that the first slivers of my past began to return. By the time I remembered my name and where I lived, it was too late. Mother was dead.
So now you remember everything?
Some things, yes. But there are still heavy clouds. For instance, it's clear Mother's riddle was meant for me, but I can't make sense of it. I can only hope your talented investigative skills solve this mystery.
Do you share Aquilia's doubts about your mother's death?
I fear Aquilia has merely succumbed to her own grief, chasing phantasms with bloody daggers. My mother was a wonderful woman who died a simple death. It is sad, but common. You come to understand this when you've been to war.
Is there anyone who would want to hurt your mother?
From what I've been told, my mother lived her final years grieving in isolation. My dear wife Pelena did her best to keep her company, but my mother had no friends or visitors. Aside from the hired help, of course.
Could someone on staff have hurt your mother?
All this talk of suspects when the woman simply fell. Though I suppose Thunderboots would not be here if the death weren't suspicious. Speak with the staff yourself if you see fit.
Interesting. Bird.
The gardener found Lady
go,
Weatherly's
Betu.
body.
That's
We should
not so
speak to
bad.
him next.
Apologies for Betu's earlier mischief. I hope he didn't damage the will. He's normally better behaved, but the lady's passing has certainly got him on edge.
Did you find Lady Weatherly's body?
Yes. I had taken over kitchen duties while Edric was away. I was restocking the pantry after returning from the market when I heard a loud crashing noise from the library.
What'd you do?
I thought Betu might have knocked something over in the library, but when I went to check, the door was blocked by something heavy. By the time I wedged myself through, it was too late.
She was dead?
Yes, she was lying on the floor, motionless. One of the ladders had fallen and there were books scattered all around. I can take you to see the library. Everything is as I found it.
Did you see anyone else?
No. Lady Weatherly was the only one in the library. Which is odd, now that I think about it.
Why is that?
Betu is usually plastered to the lady's side, but he wasn't in the library. He was shut up in Pelena's room. I wonder why she would have put him there.
Is there anyone who would want to hurt Lady Weatherly?
Well, Pelena keeps going on about Edric, our cook. She says he was acting suspiciously leading up to her death. But for what it's worth, I find him to be kind. He may be able to shed more light on that situation himself.
Can I pet the horse? No. Can I pet the chicken? No.
You won't learn anything from those scheming charlatans, that's for sure. Lost memories, please. Children can weave better stories than that drivel. I'll say it again, stranger. You should leave this place. Nothing but rotten memories.
Were you present the day Lady Weatherly died?
No. Lady Pelena had all but run me out by then. Lady Weatherly couldn't bring herself to fire me, but I thought some time away would do us all some good. Worst decision of my life. I tell you that.
Why would Pelena run you out?
It's my own fault, honestly. Something always felt off to me about Lady Pelena. She never seemed too torn up about Uriel's death. I was convinced she was hiding something, but turns out my chef's paunch doesn't make for being stealthy.
What happened?
She caught me going through her things. A terrible thing, I know, but I don't regret it. Some things deserve to be brought to light, you'll see.
Let us investigate the library.
Oh, okay. I mean, is this going to be anything except that it's Pelena and the Uriel's just like a hired guy to fill the
library
shoes?
is to the left. Your other left. We must study the scene carefully. Look for anything out of place.
The books?
You are certain this is where you found her body?
Yes. I'll never forget the sight of her.
How could she have fallen off? What?
Quite the mess for a simple fall, don't you think?
This is interesting.
Was that window already broken?
No. It was definitely intact before Lady Weatherly's death.
Something has broken the glass. Perhaps this was an escape route.
Is it a bust of Abner Tharn? It is. No, it's like an edited one?
Certainly a ladder couldn't have caused this much damage to the statue. Mizik has seen enough.
Hit it.
No blood, a broken window, and a fractured statue with no explanation as to how it was damaged. Mizik feels that there is something just out of reach of this one's claws. But what could it be?
We must be missing something.
The details don't add up. Investigations always require some stretch of the imagination, but to make sense of this crime scene would be to dream up a work of fantasy.
There must be some explanation.
Perhaps the fantasy is the clue. Only a panicked hand could make such messy brushstrokes. Could Otho's arrival from the market have startled the suspect, leading them to block the door and escape out of the broken window?
Could Otho have staged the scene?
But then why create such an elaborate scene? A fall is simple enough, a tidy portrait. We should continue to investigate this broken window. Perhaps we can find a trail on the other side.
I would never hurt Lady Weatherly.
Until the investigation is complete, everyone is a suspect. The library exterior is just around the corner.
Don't say my other corner.
Betu, what is he sniffing?
A key.
Betu found a key? And look, it seems Betu wants us to follow him.
We're going pretty... Oh, is this the shrine to the sun? Oh no, the cook!
Moons above. Is that Edric?
It was I, loyal cook Edric, who killed our dear Lady Weatherly. She planned to meet sweet Pelena Weatherly for tea, but I tainted her favorite blend, ginger and hibiscus, with a foul poison. But that wasn't her favorite. The same poison I've taken as I write this letter, for I cannot bring myself to see an impostor play at our dear Lady Uriel. Curse on that rogue. Despite doting on her every need, Lady Weatherly never saw me as more than a lovely servant. Now I join her in the great, dark, cold beyond.
A confession? And a flowery one at that.
Wait.
Mizik isn't sure what to make of this.
No, it's not here. But that wasn't the tea.
Tea? This one smells ginger, hibiscus, and something else. Something sickly. Edric's tankard. There seems to be a suspicious residue inside.
Memorial to Uriel Weatherly. Here lies the memory of a devoted son and an honorable warrior. While you never returned home, those who love you saw fit to raise a memorial in your name. The loss of such a bright light will always be a tragedy, but your memory lives on with us.
So this is the memorial Lady Weatherly built for her son. Mizik's snout wrinkles at the stench of both fresh and old death. Betu led us to the memorial of the lost Uriel Weatherly, and now we find the cook freshly poisoned. Let this one see the confession letter. Why would Edric lead us to Uriel's memorial and then kill himself? And earlier, the cook warned us of some mysterious danger. Could he have met the fate he was trying to save us from? Too many bodies and cryptic messages for this one's liking.
What about the confession?
The note says that Edric served Lady Weatherly poisoned tea the day she died, but the cook had already left the grounds. Otho confirmed that himself. And this letter says that Pelena was present for tea, but she said she was out all morning.
You think the note is a forgery?
A good question, but the memorial may be a greater clue. Lady Weatherly had gone to great lengths to find her son, but was certain of his death to raise this memorial. Our Uriel may well be an impostor, but do not give away our upper hand.
What do we know so far?
We know the real Uriel went to fight in Varen's revolt, and that Lady Weatherly spent a fortune to find his body. We also know from the note in the lady's study that Pelena was against looking into his death.
So what of the imposter?
Yes, our masquerading rogue. The cook was certain that he was an imposter, but what about the others? Aquilia has her suspicions, but shouldn't Pelena have known? Why hasn't she raised alarm bells and told the others?
And now the cook is dead.
And he was the only one who could have ended the impostor's ruse. But then there is Edric's confession. Could it be a forgery to throw us off the trail? Or a convenient end to our investigation? I sense another hasty painting is before us.
What's our next move?
We should question the impostor, but we mustn't let on that we know his gambit. I also have my reservations about the once and again widowed Pelena. If anyone else was aware of his ruse, it would be her. So why hasn't she said anything?
Let's go question Uriel.
Steady yourself as we approach the impostor, Uriel. Miss Ruse may not be his only crime. It's increasingly likely that he killed Edric to keep his secret.
What do we know so far?
We know the real Uriel went to fight in Varen's revolt, and that Lady Weatherly spent a fortune to find his body. We also know from the note in the lady's study that Pelena was against looking into his death.
So what of the imposter?
Yes, our masquerading rogue. The
Okay,
cook
so this
and
is
he
all
was-
just looping. Got it. Interesting, interesting, interesting.
What is with all the questions, cousin? Aren't you happy to see me?
There's our imposter. Talk to him, friend.
Our intrepid investigators. Pelena and I were just arguing over what to do with my mother's estate. Marriage squabbles. Have you made progress with that mysterious riddle? I can fetch her if you'd like. She just went into the kitchen.
Actually, we wanted to know if you were close to the cook, Edric Brissinier.
The cook, you say? Well, as close as any young heir is with their staff. Now that I think about it, I always did find him strange. Always one for the shadows. I'm glad Pelena saw fit to fire him. I only wish I were here to do it myself.
We found him dead by the estate fountain.
Dead? What a ghastly turn of events! Hold on. Another memory is coming back to me. Yes. The cook always had a secret love for my mother. Was it grief that led him to kill himself? It must have been. You don't think he also killed Mother?
I didn't say he killed himself.
Oh, yes, of course. No, I must have gotten ahead of myself. Yes, that's it. All this death, I thought I left it behind on the battlefield, but it seems to have followed me home. Whether murderer or murderee, my heart goes out to Edric.
Thank you, Uriel. That's all. We should speak to Pelena next, traveler.
There's been another murder? The killer could come for any one of us next.
Nonsense. It's clear Edric was a troubled man who killed Lady Weatherly and took his own life.
Maybe so. But I'm not leaving this room just yet.
This place is big. I mean, it is an estate.
Oh, Mizik, do you have updates on your investigation?
Are you making poison? Oh, potatoes. That's what those are.
Mizik, traveler, how fares the investigation? With so much still left to speculation, I've found myself wandering the grounds, trying to keep my hands busy. I hope to have things settled soon, for all our sakes.
We found the cook dead in the garden with a note confessing to poisoning Lady Weatherly.
Edric? A murderer? I'm astonished. I guess I was right to be suspicious of him, but now I wish I'd had him jailed when I could have. What a travesty. At least now we have some closure, and can focus on the missing fortune.
Why does the confession say you were present for Lady Weatherly's death?
Well, the lady and I had intended to meet that morning, but it slipped my mind. If the tea was poisoned, wouldn't that make Otho the suspect? With Edric away, he would have been the one to brew the tea for Lady Weatherly.
Are you accusing Otho of aiding the murder?
I haven't the
With the murder?
expertise, of course, to make such an accusation. But I do wonder. Otho and Edric have worked the estate for ages. Could they have felt entitled to a cut of the fortune? Useless speculation, perhaps, but the mind does wonder.
Sure.
Thank you, Pelena. We will investigate all lingering threads. Traveler, let's speak with the gardener next.
Jeez. You be careful. There's people poisoning assistants on the grounds.
Betu seems to have run off again. It's embarrassing, really. You'd think I'd be better at keeping a handle on him, but the dog is a free spirit. How are things? Made any progress since investigating the library?
Actually, we were wondering if you served Lady Weatherly tea the morning she died.
It had become one of my daily duties while Edric was away. I usually try to brew her a pot before I leave for the market. Apologies for not mentioning that earlier. My daily tasks have become innumerable.
Edric is dead. He left us note confessing to poisoning Lady Weatherly's tea.
Edric is dead? I can't believe it. No, he'd never hurt Lady Weatherly. We were like a family. Wait, the recipe for the lady's tea is wrong. She's always found ginger to be too overwhelming. Are you sure Edric wrote this?
Are you saying he didn't?
He couldn't have. He'd never make a mistake like that. And he was nowhere near the tea that morning. I started a pot for Lady Weatherly, and Pelena took over brewing it before I left.
Pelena was here. She said she forgot about having tea that morning.
Strange. She was most definitely here. She even offered to finish brewing it. I've been so busy as of late that I accepted her offer. It's not every day Pelena lends a hand around the estate. Wait. Could Pelena have poisoned Lady Weatherly?
Where does Lady Weatherly take her tea?
She usually has it in her bedchambers, but the room's been locked this whole time. It seems in the commotion the key has been misplaced. It's likely her room has remained untouched since this whole tragedy began.
Oh.
Mizek recalls a gilded key revealed to us by Betu.
If you already found the missing key, you may be able to unlock Lady Weatherly's bedchambers.
Let's get to it. Will they pull the rug out from us with a red herring at the last minute, or is this as predictable as it seems? Oh wait, that's not... I didn't pay attention. Oh, I went right past it. Oops.
If the room has truly been locked this whole time, then not even the killer could re-enter. Let us see if we can find any clues among the mess.
A scrap of fabric.
This scrap of fabric seems to have been torn from an expensive dress. The residue on that teacup stinks with the same foul smell as the tainted tea we found with Edric's body.
Dear Pelena, you may not remember me, but I assure you I've never forgotten your name or the swirling script of your letter to my band of mercenaries. How curious it was to see such a delicate writing spell out such a gruesome request. I still remember the shock in your husband's eyes, the way he cried out for his mother while he pawed at the dagger in his back. The memory remained an idle amusement until talk of a wealthy elderly woman searching for a son spread through Cyrodiil. Then it struck me. Your late husband and I bore a striking resemblance. I'm sure you'll agree. We have much to discuss, dear wife. We'll have to play our parts well if you'd like to split that woman's fortune, or I could just reveal you as the murderess you are. You decide. Theopen Pictor.
If this letter is true, then Pelena played a role in Uriel's death. And this signature. Is this the name of our resident imposter? Mizek would like to hear your thoughts on what we found.
Pretty room.
This note seems to confirm that Pelena Weatherly had her husband killed while he was away from the estate. Did Lady Weatherly read it first and confront Pelena with the truth? And what is Pelena left to do when cornered?
Well, Pelena poisoned Lady Weatherly.
Indeed. Pelena may have sensed an end to her cozy life. Killing Lady Weatherly before the imposter's arrival would secure her the fortune. She couldn't have known it was hidden, and now she can't reveal the imposter without outing herself.
But Lady Weatherly was found in the library?
A poisoned cup of tea would bring unwanted attention to Lady Weatherly's death. Pelena's only option would have been to stage the scene. A fall from a ladder at the lady's age? Mizek can already imagine the solemn nods of acceptance.
So Pelena and the imposter Theopen.
They must have brokered an agreement. Ride out the storm of Lady Weatherly's death and come out the other side rich. But they've stumbled along the way thanks to a curious cook and a meddling Mizek. It's time we confront our killers. Mizik heard a scream from down the hall. We must hurry.
Oh, don't let her get killed too.
He's dead! Someone killed him!
Betu? Betu, what's wrong, boy?
Nobody leaves until Mizik finds out what happened.
What a relief.
Traveler,
I heard that the
there's something
Lion
by the
Guard has
body.
taken
Quick.
back
What?
Camlorn.
Why is someone talking to Investigator Mizik? I apologize for letting my fear get the best of me. I was afraid telling you the truth would put your life at risk. I thought I could solve everything myself. Before Lady Weatherly's death, I went through Pelena's belongings. I had always suspected she was cruel, but lately she had grown erratic, nervous, always looking over her shoulder. When I searched her room, I discovered her correspondence with Theof and Pictor. She had Uriel killed, and now his assassin is here. Oh. Wearing Uriel's clothes and a name like a cheap costume. I gave Lady Weatherly a letter to prove Pelena's wrongdoing. I fear that in doing so I doomed her. When Pelena confronted me, she demanded I return her stolen letter. I refused, told her I had hidden it. But she must have sensed my deceit. Known that I revealed her betrayal to Lady Weatherly. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Betu?
We have to help him.
Oh, they poisoned Betu?
Something has made Betu terribly ill. I've never seen him so scared. If only I knew what was wrong, I could help him.
He was poisoned. We found the same residue in Lady Weatherly's teacup.
Wait. I recognize this smell. Yes, I couldn't place it until now. We used this poison around the estate grounds. We've fallen into such disrepair that beasts have moved into the cellars. Betu knows better than to eat this. He was forced.
Can we help him?
Yes, in the pantry. I kept a tin of medicinal herbs for this very occasion. I could never forgive myself if I had a hand in hurting Betu. Please, hurry. Get the herbs.
Quickly, friend. Search the pantry. Mizik hopes we can save at least one life today.
So what killed the guy? Theophan? Was that his name? What killed him?
Betu! He's recovering. The herbs must be working.
Wonderful news. Traveler, let's discuss the note you found with our imposter. Our imposter is dead, and our killer nearly succeeded in taking Betu's life as well. It is also not lost on Mizik as to who is missing from this room. The note you found with imposter Theophan's body. What does it say?
It's from Edric. He discovered Pelena's involvement.
The lengths the cook went to protect Lady Weatherly. This one hopes she knew how dearly she was loved by her staff. There is no doubt left in this one's mind as to who our killer is.
Pelena Weatherly?
She must be held accountable for her crimes. She can't have gone far.
Betu? What is it? Where are you going?
Quickly, follow that dog.
He recovered very quick. Ooh.
Good boy, Betu. Your killer may very well.
The estate grounds used to be the jewel of Westweald. Well, they said there were creatures down here, so...
These tunnels seem to run under the entire property. Good thing.
Mizik needs to stop doing that.
Did you just light them on fire? I don't have anything that's fire. I don't think. No. I don't think my enchantment is fire on this.
Get away from me, you beasts!
Hey, dog. Mizik is all right. Apologies.
Is he freaking out?
Oh dear. Apologies.
I don't remember him being this much of a wimp.
Mizik is all right.
Damn dog! How are you still alive? I've committed no wrong. That man was an imposter. If I hadn't gotten him first, then he would have killed me. I spit on Theophan Pictor's name for masquerading as my dear Uriel.
We know you had Uriel killed.
How could you possibly say that? Whose inane rambling convinced you of such nonsensical drivel? Everyone is out to frame me. Theophan, Otho, even that damned Edric.
It's over, Pelena.
Damn this rotting estate. Everything I did, everyone I killed, I did it for my own survival. I hope it crumbles into dust just like that crone and her son. I spit on their graves.
Oh, aren't you lovely?
The Count of Skingrad will decide your fate.
Pelena, why would you hurt Betu?
Because this whole family can rot for all I care.
Okay. She's evil. Got it.
You've done great work today, Traveler. The air is heavy with death. But just like the sun, truth will come out. If only Lady Weatherly could see Pelena beaten at her own game.
What happens now?
Pelena will be delivered to Skingrad. With the evidence in hand, she should face charges for the deaths of Uriel, Lady Weatherly, and our impostor. While it's possible Theophan killed Edric, I am certain she played a role.
What of the missing fortune?
To think this one nearly forgot about our remaining golden thread. Aquilia is the only living relative. Mizik supposes she will inherit the fortune. Not that we found a single coin to give her.
We must have missed something.
Fortune aside, what we accomplished today is no small feat. If the fortune was to be found, we'd have stumbled upon it during our investigation.
What have you got there, boy?
It seems Betu has brought us something.
A gold goblet.
Betu, where did you find this? Betu? Otto, escort Pelena back to the manor. We will follow the dog.
Crab. Dead crab.
Missy can't believe it. Is this Lady Weatherly's missing fortune? Let us investigate.
Interesting. If you're reading this, then Betu trusted you with our hidden fortune. I had hoped that one day I'd pass these treasures on to my son Uriel, but I learned recently that the woman I cared for like a daughter betrayed me, and so it became necessary to hide the fortune she's clearly so hungry to acquire. I haven't gathered all the proof yet, but I call upon a dear friend who can help bring her crimes to light. If I don't live long enough to see her downfall, let this document serve to make my final wishes clear. My dear dog Betu and the staff that has looked over after the both of us while I retreated into my grief are to receive my remaining fortune and the estate. They are what remains of my family, and through them the memory of my dear Uriel will live on. To Edric and Otho, I thank you for making my grieving a little more comfortable. I hope this fortune helps you look after the greatest gift my son ever gave me, my dear and faithful Betu.
Lady Weatherly must have left that note before her death.
Oh, so Aquilia doesn't even get anything?
Aquilia.
Aquilia? Not that she seems too interested in the fortune to begin with. She just saw herself having a responsibility here. Damn, so Otho's the only one who survived to inherit... Well, Betu, obviously, but... Damn. That's a bit of a bummer.
Pelena, is it true? After everything my aunt did for you.
I don't owe you an explanation, Aquilia.
Damn.
Otho did his best to explain your findings. But is it really true? Pelena is to blame for this nightmare?
Yep.
I thought she was acting strangely, but I blamed it on the grief. I would never have expected her to be capable of all this. And what of Uriel? What was his role in all this?
He was an imposter. He wanted a cut of the fortune after helping kill the real one.
I knew something was off about him. But to think he also played a role in killing my cousin. Lady Weatherly gave Pelena a comfortable life, looked after her every need. All this death, in the pursuit of an absent fortune.
Actually, we found it.
Betu was safeguarding the fortune this whole time? It's a strange request, leaving the remaining fortune to Betu and her staff. But I wouldn't dare go against my aunt's wishes. How sweet. Lord Betu of Weatherly.
Oh, she has a good...
You have got to be joking. The dog.
I can't believe it. There must be some mistake.
There's no mistake, Otho. I will help oversee the transfer of ownership. You and Betu will have all your needs seen to.
Excellent work, my friend.
It's just a shame about Edric.
Many lives were lost, despite our best efforts. There is certainly joy to be found in our success, but this one will spend many a night wondering if there was more that could be done. Perhaps he is not as good an investigator as he thought.
Lady Weatherly and her son can rest easy thanks to you.
Do not downplay your role either, friend. You forget, Mizik was a bumbling mess, chasing a sneeze-inducing beast. Betu, until you arrived. You deserve a reward for your work, but know that this one is in your debt. Mizik hopes news of this case strikes fear in the heart of all criminals who think they have gotten away with their crimes. No matter how many years go by, justice is still hunting, and Mizik will find you in the end.
What will you do now?
Mizik will stay for a while as executor of the estate, but he cannot linger long. There are crimes that require his attention, and he must hurry before the trail goes cold.
But we just solved the crime.
Yes, and Mizik could not have done it without you. But resting in the shade of one's successes too long dulls the claws. We will meet again, friend, and criminals will tremble at the thunder of our boots. Mizik likes saying that part.
Okay.
I've always preferred cats. But you've made a good argument for dogs, Betu.
This one thinks Betu likes you.
Oh, well, you do seem like a very good boy. I'll be sure to order a lifetime supply of steak dinners. Don't worry. I'll take care of all the remaining paperwork and help get Otho and Betu on their feet. Thank you for everything you've done today. I hope my dear aunt can rest easy now.
What will you do now?
I'll ensure that Otho and Betu are recognized as the estate owners. From there, it's largely up to Otho. I'd imagine he'd want to hire staff and begin tending to the estate grounds again. At the very least, I'll make sure he rests.
And Betu?
It might sound strange, leaving an estate to a dog, but wealth can be funny like that. I once attended a masquerade in Somerset, organized by a pet cat. Everything has paled in comparison since. Betu's a good boy. I'm sure he'll adjust.
How do you feel about this arrangement?
If I'd found out when I first arrived, I may have been a little more concerned. But after seeing the way Otho dotes on Betu, and knowing how much that dog meant to my aunt, I have no qualms. This is what she wanted.
And I can pet him again.
The estate and its fortune are left to Betu and me? I've always thought that Lady Weatherly's generosity was unrivaled, but this... it's almost too much. I assure you, I'll see to all of Betu's needs. We're family, after all.
What will you do now?
I don't even know. How does one run an estate? I'll have to hire staff, of course, then get around to the gardens. It's been ages since I've done a proper pruning. Oh, it's all so much, isn't it? But I'll have Betu. He'll keep me sane.
You really care about Betu, don't you?
Course I do. Never had a pet or siblings. And I've been tending to rich folks' gardens ever since I could use a pair of shears. It wasn't until this estate that I felt like I could breathe. Be myself. Have friends. Betu's a part of that.
And you're the criminal?
Don't look at me like that. You would have done the same thing in my shoes.
I don't know. I don't think I wear your size. What did you do? Why'd you do it?
Fortune was always my goal. I was happy playing the doting wife, But when Uriel went off to battle, I got greedy. Some old and unsavory acquaintances put me in touch with an assassin, Theophan. I thought I had it all figured out.
But you killed him too.
The fool thought he could show up and demand half the fortune for himself. And the more you and that investigator dug, the more reckless he became. When he threatened to out me and take the entirety of the fortune, I knew I had to kill him.
And now it's Betu who'll receive the fortune.
That wretched old woman had one last twist of the knife up her sleeve. I hope she's enjoying this from whatever corner of oblivion she's in. Damned woman never did like me. She was right, but still.
Wow, she's just like unapologetically evil. It's rare you have a character that evil. That like isn't a Daedra or something. Okay, well I guess we'll head on back to the main road and just keep on riding up until we find the next thing to do. But yeah, that's it for now. So thanks for joining me. Come back, I'll have the next stuff up real soon. But until then, bye.